Aloha, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus, Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 49 on YouTube. Well, guys, we have a nice fight card tonight. UFC Fight Night in Las Vegas. Main event, Lewis versus Spivac. Good fight tonight, heavyweight fight. I gotta say, so we've seen Derek Lewis on a little mini losing streak, and I would like to see him bounce back into the win column. But if I'm making my prediction here, guys, I think Spivak is going to beat Lewis tonight. And tonight's main card actually is going to start at 10 p.m. And it's weird because it's still in Las Vegas, but they decided to have the main card start at 10 o'clock. There are a lot of Asian fighters on this card, and I can kind of see there's a bit of an exposure to maybe the Asian markets at this hour. So I'll try my best to watch all the fights, but it should be interesting Saturday, really. But yeah, back to the fights here. We have a light heavyweight fight, which is serving as the co-main event. We have Jung versus Clark. I've seen Clark a few times, but Jung I think is on his way up, and I am picking Jung to beat Clark tonight. Next up, we have some familiar heavyweights. We have Tibura versus Ivanov, and I would say Tibura should be able to eke out a victory over Ivanov. Next up, we have a featherweight fight. Choi versus Nelson. In the featherweight division, it should be a good fight, but I am kind of leaning towards Nelson in this one. And the fight that will open the main card is a welterweight fight between Kinoshita and Fugit. And if you ask me, guys, I am picking Kinoshita to win this fight. Now, for the opener for the prelims, we have a lightweight fight between Saraki and Jabli. Should be a good fight. Odds are pretty even, but my gut feeling is that Jabli is going to defeat Saraki tonight in the feature prelim. Next up, we have another featherweight fight. We have Jia versus Lee. Should be a good fight. Lee is the favorite in this one, but I am picking Shaw to win this fight over Lee. Next up, we have a bantamweight fight between Nakamura and Kazama. Should be another good fight between two Asian fighters. I am picking Nakamura to win this one, which is a bantamweight fight, by the way. Next fight, we have a flyweight fight between Choi and Park, and I am picking Park to beat Choi in this one. Should be a fast-paced fight in the flyweight division. Next up, we have a women's flyweight fight. We have Bomb versus Kim. Kim is the favorite in this one, but I am picking Bomb to win. Next up, we have a middleweight fight with Park versus Tiu Liolin. I'm leaning towards Park to win this one. And the opener to the entire card, which, by the way, the card will start at 7 p.m. Pacific time, but the main card starts at 10 p.m. Pacific time, which means the fight will probably end around 1 a.m. past midnight. So yeah, so my pick for this flyweight fight, we got Tyra, who is the heavy favorite going up against Aguilar. I'm picking Tyra to win this one. Who knows? He might be a big star, and maybe in the near future. So those are my picks, guys. Watch the fights. Have fun with it. Make some money off of it. Interesting. So I did go to a comedy show last night at the Madhouse, and It was hosted by Andy Van, who's a Vietnamese comedian. The headliner of the show last night at the Madhouse was DJ Demers. First time seeing the guy. He actually was on the Jimmy Fallon show, and he was also on America's Got Talent. So he has a lot of TV exposure, and I got to meet him last night. Both Andy Van and DJ Demers. DJ Demers, pretty cool guy. Pretty much down to earth. He does wear a hearing aid because I think he had, I guess he had developed a loss of hearing over time, and so he was given a hearing aid. So it has, you know, helped out in his life, and it also kind of, I guess it does help him with his stand-up too. And so yeah, the show last night. So Andy Van started off with some jokes, and he had some material. I actually did see him again at the open mic after, at the end of the night actually. So funny guy. I kind of gave Andy an 8.3 out of 10. He has this cool bit where he talks about, he talks to the three people in the front row. I guess in a way the crowd work was kind of his thing, where he kind of picked two big guys who may or may not be like a military, and then there was a female next to them. So he mentioned that the first two guys' names was Teagan and Warren, and mentioned how the two guys could probably start a construction company, which is kind of funny because of the names, how they're not very traditional. And then he said that for the purpose of the joke, he's going to call them Kevin and John. And then he asked the name of the girl, and it says, well, he was going to give her a nickname, but he went into the bit where he says, well, since we're going to call him John, we're going to call him Kevin, we're going to call you later. That was kind of smooth, pretty slick from Andy Van. But overall, 8.3 for his comedy. So funny guy. And apparently he has a podcast talking about comedy, Vietnamese comedy. So I'll probably check that out. And the next comic that came up was Cameron Frost. Funny guy. He does mention that his brother has autism, and how he mentioned that he got his brother drunk at 30, and how he made a noise to kind of indicate that the little brother was lit. So everybody kind of cheered about the whole fact that he got his brother drunk. So that was fun. The whole crowd was into it. But I did give Cameron Frost a 7.8 rating out of 10. Next comedian that came up was Strider Wilson. He had this whole bit where he talked about how he worked at Domino's, and he said there's this homeless man who was super ripped, kind of came in, and how he seemed to be demanding pizza slices with a hard on. It says that the penis was like, I guess in what was it, in good shape or something, super hard. And so Strider had given the homeless man like 4 slices of pizza, but then realized that he can't keep giving him more slices of pizza because he'll be then operating at a loss. And then said that he whipped out his own penis or something to the homeless man. So yeah, that might have gotten the homeless man to stop asking for pizza slices. So, but he's a funny guy though, Strider Wilson. I kind of gave him an 8.4 out of 10. He had some good stuff. Next comic was Allison Vastano. Funny gal. She said that she was at a laundromat once, and said that she had like a false sense of security when she has her headphones on, and said that one time at a laundromat this man came up and sat next to her, and then for 2 minutes was totally oblivious to the fact that the man was actually masturbating next to her. But said that technically that actually was not what bothered her the most at the laundromat. What bothered her at the laundromat was a guy who kept whistling the entire time he was watching them, and said to the guy who whistles, "Sir, can you keep the whistling down? Because my friend here, he can't come." So the whole crowd kind of laughed. I did see her also at the open mic too, along with Cameron and Andy Van. So I kind of gave Allison an 8.1 out of 10. Next comment that came up was Jim Pine, who I've seen before at the Madhouse, and he kind of has this whole thing about cats in the military. He mentioned again how, his cat, he thought has cancer, but he says he's no doctor, but he actually went to a doctor and said that the cat actually has AIDS. So, and I guess he was trying to give the impression that he does not fuck his cat. So, he also has this thing about the military where he said that there is a sign they used in the military, don't ask, don't tell, but since there's new developments recently that they actually started allowing transgenders into the military, he said the sign should now says, don't ask, but I can't tell. So it was kind of similar material from before. So overall, I kind of gave Jim Pine a 7.9 out of 10. Next up, familiar face, Kim Mekivar. She headlined a show at the Madhouse before. Has some new material. I love that. And the crowd was pretty into it. It was actually a good crowd tonight too, for a Friday night. So I actually also did see Kim at the open mic as well. She's working on some new material, but overall, Kim's material, I would say last night was probably 8.3 out of 10. Next up, familiar face again, James Schrader. Saw him at the Pally and Wine at Cash Comedy's show before. Overall, I would say he's an 8.5 out of 10 for the stuff that he said. It was actually a little different too, from what I can remember. And then our headliner, DJ Demers. So funny guy. He had a bit that I remember that talked about how when his kid was little, and I don't know what it is, but maybe when kids at that age, they tend to probably flick their own penis, and then I guess dads always kind of fascinated with how their son's development is, like the whole body, head, body, arms, fingers, feet, and I guess the penis. And he said that he did IVF before, and then how he had to go, do, I guess as a self procedure, I guess, for guys that needs to provide a sample. So he talked about how, so I guess he said there should be a point between a father and a son, and if you're kind of curious of how things turned out, that maybe if when the kid turns 21, you should have a moment with your dad and you do a 5-second pull down, and then you kind of observe each other's penis. And then he said that he's kind of glad how it turned out, and then said that his son's penis is bigger than his. So and the fact that it actually he said that initially when he first had the kid, that the kid's penis was super dark, or the scrotum was dark, but then said that when it got to older age, 21, that it actually got lighter. So you can definitely say that's his kid, really. So funny bit. Um, uh, and then he talked about stuff about penises, and of course found his kids, and then how the sons in the I guess for not only his was it brother or sister's side, the sons said that sometimes the sons can't hang out, and then he kind of had a joke as to why the kids can't hang out and stuff, and DJ Demers put a twist on it. I guess something about um, I'm trying to remember stuff about circumcisions and uncircumcised, and um, you know hope that the kids aren't doing the thing where they're showing each other penises when they're young or at any age. But everybody just kept laughing and laughing about the whole aspect of little kids showing each other their penises to each other, and then hopefully don't do it so much when they're older. But yeah, but overall, DJ Demers, and actually I got to see him twice technically because I was coming from a comedy show, the American Comedy Company, when I was trying to catch the Sklar Brothers show over at the other company, which is about a block away or so. But yeah, DJ Demers, I would say his comedy was an 8.9 out of 10. Funny guy, cool guy to talk to. Now, I did mention that I went over to the other comedy club, very close, the American Comedy Company. The headliner was the Sklar Brothers. They have a UFC past reality or podcast show. So it's called The Nosebleeds. So it was a good packed house for that show too, as opposed to the packed house at the Madhouse. And as I was walking over, there was this big line in front of the comedy club. But what I also realized that the line, not only was there a line in front of the comedy club, but there is a Double Deuce bar right next to the comedy club. Now, I had to kind of think about this for a minute because I'm standing in a line and there's one line, and I'm thinking, wait, is this the line for the comedy club or is this the line for the bar, Double Deuce? And if you think about it, I could tell from the demographic that yeah, this was actually not the line for the comedy club, because I could tell nobody was going into the comedy club, and I knew that the time had already passed already, and I realized I'm not in the right line, and so I had to get out of the line, go to the front and of the comedy club, and told them the situation. Like, I can't tell if the line was for just for the bar or is it both for the comedy club and the bar. So the guy who worked the front door said, like, yeah, you can get me in, because there is a policy at American Comedy Company where if you're late, they may not actually let you in while the show is in progress. So so they were pretty cool. And I did see Jacob Johnstone. I've seen him a few times actually between the Madhouse and the American Comedy Company. So so I got in. Pretty much almost to the end of one of the openers set, and there's usually a host and two openers, and then it goes right into the headliners. So I was actually at pretty much the end of the second opener. So then it started shortly after with the headliner. So overall, the Sklar Brothers are pretty funny, and to find out that they actually have a show on UFC Fight Pass called The Nosebleeds is their own podcast, and the fact they're incorporated with the UFC in some way, that's pretty cool. Got to talk to them for a little bit. I did try to take a picture with them. I did take a picture with them, but my phone was already dead. And I told them that if I start the phone, I only have like 15 seconds to operate the phone and get a picture. But a lady who was behind me told me that she could probably take a picture with her phone and then send it to me. So when we took the picture, what I didn't realize was that she actually took the photo. I thought it was with my phone, and then when she handed it to me, I noticed the photo was not there. So I then realized that she took a photo with her phone. And then I can hear when I left that, oh no, I feel so bad. I took a picture with my phone and I can't text him. And so I had to go back downstairs, and then I met the girl um, on the staircase, and then she was going to text me the photos. And in that moment, I looked at her phone and she showed it to me, like, these are the pictures, and then this is the number that I'm having her text to me, and everything looked right, like the phone number and the pictures. Um, Problem was, um, when I got my phone charged and I'm looking at my text messages, I noticed the pictures are not there, and so I don't think she sent me the photos. So I am going to go back tonight to the American Comedy Company because the Sklar Brothers are performing again, and I actually have a free ticket again because I had a free ticket last night, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to the later show, which I think starts at 9:30, and this time I'm making sure I have a fully charged phone this time so I can take pictures of them after, because they're going to take pictures after. So um, but yeah, if I'm giving a rating for the Sklar Brothers here, I would say the Sklar Brothers comedy, and they were talking back and forth about a lot of stuff, penises and the kids and football and UFC stuff, and um, roasting each other. I would say 9 out of 10 is pretty solid for their comedy. So tonight I'm going to see the entire show from its entirety, so I will capture what I missed when I came late. So, all right, guys. There's some great basketball going on today. Duke and North Carolina is playing today. That'll be at 3 o'clock, about the same time. Lakers are traveling to see the Pelicans and play. And LeBron is on his quest to break the record, the scoring record, the all-time scoring record by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So my guess is that by the time LeBron will break the record, it will be at home in LA against the Milwaukee Bucks on Thursday night, and Kareem will be in the building. He'll probably be at both games, actually, both the LA game against the Thunder on Tuesday, and he'll be at the Thursday game at the Milwaukee game if he doesn't break it against the Thunder. So I don't think he's going to break it tonight in New Orleans, because you would have to score 64 points, and that doesn't happen very often these days. But I would probably say he'll get at least 20-something points tonight. And then on Tuesday, might be a chance he might break it, but chances are he probably will break it on Thursday night. And all three games, tonight's game against the Pelicans is going to be ESPN2. The Tuesday game against the Thunder is going to be on, I believe, TNT. And if it gets to the Thursday night game, that game will be also nationally televised against the Bucks at home at the Crypto.com Arena, formerly known as Staples Center. And who knows? I would say that Milwaukee game is pretty much when LeBron will break the record and be the all-time scoring record leader. So, all right, guys. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy comedy shows as well. And Tiggy Maximus signing off. Bye, guys.